Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andy Noel. I serve Cornell University as the Director of Athletics and Physical Education. I am high atop Sholkoff Hall in the Tradition Room, having a fireside chat with David Archer, our head coach of Big Red Football, just completed his third season. And I thought it would be fun for folks to hear some of what David has to say at this point in his career.
The team, we already had our first team meeting for next year, the Sunday after the Penn game. And I think that the numbers, the health of our program with the number of players we have 97 players on roster right now. That's with the 22 seniors removed from it. We can sign up to 32 recruits. We already have over half that number committed. So next August, we could be looking upwards about 125, 126, 127 football players on our team. What that does is it allows, with that many people, and what I believe to be quality depth, it creates enormous competition.
Exactly.
And you're a former wrestling coach. You remember, understand those wrestle-offs, right? You'd have those in between matches. You have a wrestle-off, and the best guy got to, be the guy in the match. Well, that's what we can do now for our entire off-season, for spring football, for training camp. We'll make each other so much better by competing with each other, raising our level of play at each position, which then, when you're in those pressure type of situations, you have to perform. That's how you're able to close out games and win those close games.
Another thing that we talked about during this past year, and we've had many a multi-hour discussion week by week. It's been a lot of fun to catch up on the detail of the program, but I find it very interesting and actually very intelligent the way you approach the use of freshmen and how you've really made the decision not to put freshmen in situations where they may be over their skis and have issues and problems and lose confidence, and then also how you've decided to increase their weight training, because a part of this is for these young men who were seniors in high school 1 year ago to be ready to compete with 4-year and 5-year senior players. And I find it fascinating, and I'd like you to talk about that whole concept, the weight room and that type of thing.
Absolutely. So part of building the program is to have a really strong foundation for your freshman class. And so when I meet with them and their parents on their report day, I tell them that every single freshman has one goal, and that's to become a sophomore. And what I mean by that is to learn how to compete in the rigors of the classroom of an Ivy League academic institution, learn how to lift weights, learn how to prepare, learn our schemes, play JV football games. Thanks to the support, we're able to play 2 JV football games this past fall. We hadn't played that since 2009. We had our freshmen and any non-travelers lift 4 days a week during the season. So that is the equivalent for about an 8-week period. They lifted 4 days a week. That's equivalent to what they lift in the spring semester off season. So we essentially doubled the off season for our incoming freshmen. Critical, especially on the line of scrimmage. So our 6'8", 6'8", 6'6", 6'7", 6'5" offensive line freshmen got to lift 4 days a week, got to play on the scout team against our starting defense and get toughened up, and then got to play and show what they could do with our schemes in JV football games.
And would you comment a little bit on that, the weight room, and what that addition meant? Because we had some great people provide that equipment for us.
In the past offseason, we increased the average squat by 40 pounds. We increased the average clean by 25 pounds. And we didn't do a 1-rep max on the bench. We do bench endurance 225 test. We increased 2 reps, which I know it sounds like only 2. That's a lot. When you're talking about pressing that thing 15 times and then you can press it 17 times, that's a major difference in your upper body strength. That's what we were able to grow in the off season with just an 8-week period in the spring. Now imagine now that we've progressed even more and in the fall period. So in the development side, that really helps. Translating onto the football field, we're able to run the ball an average of 30 more yards per game this fall than we did last season.
While we're thrilled about the advantages that we now have in the weight room, and I've been to every weight room in the Ivy League, and I can tell you ours is second to none. And there may only be one other one that I think may be close to as nice as ours, and many of them I don't believe are up to our level. But there's other things that we want to do facility-wise, and we're talking very seriously with support from very key people inside the university at the highest levels to have an indoor practice facility. We also down the road have every intention to fixing our west stands, which are not in great shape right now, and to making a pretty significant improvement there. Can you just talk for a second about how it feels to be the head football coach at Cornell, knowing that the president of the university and our new vice president are fully behind what you and I and others are trying to accomplish?
Well, kind of like I wrote in that plan, like we need a top-down commitment. And so top starting board trustees, president of the university, all the way to the players that are making the plays on the field on Saturday. And so I'm a piece of that, you're a piece of that, our alumni are a piece of that, Beth Garrett's a piece of that, Ryan Lombardi's a piece of that, but to know that they are at the top and have that same passion, and like she said, football's in her DNA, to have that same passion and drive to do something truly remarkable, to be a program to say, you know what, that's how it should be. Those guys do football the right way, and they go to class and they get good grades and they're involved in the community, and that's what college football is supposed to be like. And they're in the #1 college town in the country, and there's nothing else to do there on a Saturday, so the stands are packed and it's rocking and rolling, and their marching band's incredible. To have people at the top to be able to see that same thing that we've seen, our alumni have seen for so many years, and to have those people in the influential positions that they're in, to be able to have that while you're the head coach, I can't wait for the future.